If you click this video, it's highly likely that either your job doesn't pay you well or your boss treats you like a garbage and no one appreciates what you do, or simply your work serves no real purpose in this world anymore. And if that's one of the cases for you, then congratulations. You have clicked the right video because I was in the exact same spot 5 years ago. And by the end of this video, I will reveal the 3 P's framework that 90% of million-dollar businesses are built on. Plus, the exact same method I used to go from corporate slave to 7 figures. And the brutal truth why most people stay stuck forever. And here's the thing, almost every successful business gets born from one of these 3 P's. And once you know what they are, you will never be able to look at all these opportunities the same way again. So stick around because I'm gonna break down each P and show you exactly how to use them. Look, I need to be brutally honest with you right now. What I'm seeing in the entrepreneurship space is honestly insane. Everyone is complaining about the same things. Micromanagement, being treated like a cog in the machine, having zero control over daily routines, and working these bullshit jobs that serve no purpose anymore. And here is what's gonna shock you. 82% of employees were at risk of burnout in 2024. 82%. That means if you are feeling this way, this doesn't really mean something is wrong with you. It just means you're a normal person reacting to stress. But here is where it gets interesting, and this might surprise you. I was scrolling through Facebook 5 years ago and saw this guy traveling the world, living comfortably with his family, working flexible hours, genuinely happy. Same industry as me, and that's when I realized, hey Hamad, you are in a software development, but you don't have time for family. You can't leave the office when you want, and you can't afford the life which you actually want. So I made a plan, but not the plan which most people make. See, most people think the first step is quitting their job, which is totally backwards and broken thinking. The real first step is something which most people can't handle, and it's this. You have to say 2 words. My fault. I know actually. You're thinking, but Ahmad, my boss is terrible, the economy sucks, I don't have connections. And you are probably right about all of that. And here is what I learned from studying the wealthiest people I know. They only think about one thing, and that is skills. They think about what I can learn and then what this skill can get me. And they always pay any money. They have to buy more skills in the beginning, so you have to buy all these skills yourself. Because once you have skills to generate excess income, then you can start buying others people's time. But here is the thing, when I started saving every penny, saying no to every luxury, I discovered something very powerful. In hard times, you realize who supports you and who doesn't. And we can get to the more details about this in the later videos, but you get the point here, right? And let me tell you about something that changed everything for me. I learned about the 3 P's framework. Almost all successful businesses gets born from one of these 3 P's. First is pain, something which you went personally and had to overcome. Like this friend of mine, she has almost 9 kids. Yeah, 9. And trust me, making lunch for 9 kids every day was this massive process. But she created this whole system, organized bags for each kid, efficient timing, proper nutrition, and out of nowhere I said, this looks like a whole business. And you know what? She turned that system into a 6-figure business teaching other large families. Second is profession. What you do for your day job. For example, I recently heard about a registered dietitian who quit her hospital job and started teaching other dietitians how to bill insurance. She only had 1 day a week to bill her personal clients, so she had to figure out this complex billing system super quickly. And now she makes almost $500,000 a year with just 5,800 followers on Instagram. Yes, you heard it right, just 5,800 followers. Third is passion, the stuff you're always reading about, the YouTube videos you watch in your spare time, the podcasts you listen to. For example, for me it was no-code development. I was obsessed with Bubble, a no-code platform, reading every blog post, watching every tutorial, staying up late building test applications, MVPs. My coworkers would see me coding in the lunch breaks and say, dude, you should start your own agency. You know this stuff better than most consultants out there. But here is where most people mess up. They think they need the perfect idea on the first try. Well, that is completely wrong. The thing is you should be doing is getting your best bad ideas as fast as possible, because picking anything is the first step. That begins the feedback process so you can make it less wrong. over time. Now, when I was doing my 9 to 5 during the day and building my business from 6 p.m. in the evening to 2 a.m. in the morning, sometimes forgetting to eat dinner, I learned something super crucial. I started following Alex Hormozi, and he taught me that sales is 90% of your business and rest 10% is actually the serving client process. So I started building my brand on LinkedIn, sharing my journey, getting DMs from people who needed help. I was also freelancing on platform Upwork, grinding it out really. But this wasn't easy. It took me over 500 no's to get my first yes. Yes, 500 rejections. But here is what nobody tells you about: the first dollar. I had this potential client reach out to me on my LinkedIn, asking for help with a bubble application for their startup. We jumped on a call. I spent an hour understanding what their needs and showing them what was possible. And they said this is exactly what they need. And when can we get started? The project was around $2,000, which I didn't even have a proper contract. They just trusted my expertise, and that was the moment I realized, holy shit, I can get paid some serious money for this. And that's when everything changed, because successful people understand something most broke people don't. Money is made by getting it from someone else voluntarily. They have to give it to you because you have provided something very valuable first. It's voluntary exchange. Both parties say thank you because both think they are better off. And look, I'm not just talking about theory here. Over the past 5 years, I have completed over 100 successful projects. I'm a top rated plus certified bubble developer on Upwork and also an AI developer on these platforms. I have had the opportunity to work with some major brands like Sony, PepsiCo in Mexico, an ex-football player of Brazil, Ronaldinho, and also I got nominated for Best Freelancer of the Year by Bubble in 2024 in New York. But I'm telling you this not to brag, but to show you what's possible when you commit to mastering a skill and serving people at the highest level. But here is the brutal truth, and this comes from studying people who have made it versus people who stay stuck. The people who stay stuck, they have one common trait. It's always tomorrow. The diet starts Monday. The business starts next year. The new life begins when conditions are perfect. They delay the pain instead of delaying the gratification. They take pleasure now and pain later instead of pain now and pleasure later. And here is the crazy part. They are surprised when today becomes yesterday's tomorrow, and they are living the pain they actually pushed off. I remember this moment that changed everything for me. I was 19, had to write an essay about depression, and I had to write it from my mother's perspective. Getting negative comments from the relatives, having a tough time managing home and children. I realized something profound. Maybe she's actually a massive success given where she started. And when I went home, she said something that would normally trigger a huge fight. But instead, I said, I understand you. I'm sorry you went through this stuff. And you know what was her reaction? She looked completely shocked and just started crying. And that's when I realized I was giving her power over my relationships, over my success, and over my future. And that's when I understood whatever you cast blame to is where you cast power to. If I say I can't succeed because my mom didn't love me, guess who controls me? My mom. If I say I can't succeed because of the economy or politics or my circumstances, I give those things more power than I give myself. And here is what separates people who make it from people who don't. People who make it say it's my fault, even when it's not, because the fault equals power. If it's your fault, it's in your power to change it. But most people can't handle this. They'd rather be right about why their life sucks than be rich with the life they love. You can either be right or you can be rich, but you can't be both at the same time. And here is the thing about starting with nothing. You only have one thing, that is your time. And you have lower leverage. I'm not gonna lie to you. There is no secret, no magic bullet. It's sheer brute force. You have to will yourself out of it. Think of it like this. Imagine your future success is connected to you by a rope, and you have to pull that rope towards you every single day. But here is the thing. In the beginning, that rope is made of broken glass. Every pull cuts your hand. Every step forward hurts like hell. But as you keep pulling through the pain, the rope gets smoother, less painful, and eventually it becomes silk. But most people let go during the glass phase because their hands hurt too much. But the successful ones, they pull through the pain because they know what's waiting on the other side. And here is something most people don't understand about getting your first customer. You greet someone, mention something specific about them. That's a compliment. Insert your value proposition and ask if they know anybody who could benefit. You do this for 4 hours per day until you reach 100 people. And if you do this every day, you will get your first 5 customers. Now I know what you're thinking, but Hamad, what if people say no? Well, it's good because every no gets you closer to yes. And here is the secret. The wealthiest people I know get the most no's. They just didn't let the no's stop them. Look, your current pain, that frustration with your job, your anger at your circumstances, that's not your enemy. That's your fuel. I also used to think every night, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, would I be okay with it? That's how much I hated my situation. But instead of letting that destroy me, I used it. I said I will succeed despite everything stacked against me. And that anger, that desperation, that became my competitive advantage. Because while everyone else was comfortable, I was hungry. While they were satisfied, I was starving for more. While they were making excuses, I was making progress. And here is what I want you to understand. That pain you're feeling right now, that's not a sign you're broken. That's a sign you're ready. So what's it gonna be? Are you gonna keep letting other people control your income, your schedule, your future, or are you gonna finally use that pain as a power? Because here is the truth. The pain of staying the same will always be greater than the pain of change. The only difference is one pain leads to regret and the other leads to results. And one more thing before I finish this video off. If you're ready to stop making excuses and start making money, and if you're looking to validate your ideas, find the best tools, get proven templates, and grab your first dollar online. I have written the only guide which you need to turn your idea into a real working product, and it is on my website. It contains every framework I use, every tool that actually works, every template that converts, and the exact step-by-step process to go from idea to income. Don't let another year pass wondering what if. Don't let fear keep you trapped in a life you hate. Your future self is counting on the decision you make right now. The link is in the description. Stop reading, start building.